Knebworth House stands in 2,000 acres of Hertfordshire parkland. Deer have roamed here for 300 years. The 12th century church is within sight of the house itself, which has been the home of the Lytton family since it was built in 1492. Successive generations altered the house according to their tastes, and now the ornate exterior, the turrets and gargoyles of the 19th century conceal an interior that dates back to Tudor times. 7 years ago, the present Lady Cobbold bequeathed Knebworth to her son, the Honourable David Lytton Cobbold, and his wife, Christine.
Well, I must say, Christine, I'm a bit surprised to find you in the kitchen. There I came along, driving along that wonderful drive, very lovely house. I thought that the lady of the manor would be in one of the rather smart drawing rooms upstairs.
Oh, I don't think any longer, no. I think you usually find the lady of the, stately homes in the kitchen nowadays, because there's so much to do.
What sort of things do you have to do? What's involved in running a huge place like this?
Well, in the summer we're open, so we have a continual stream of visitors, but all year round we do evening entertainment as well. And, we cook dinners for them, clear up, and we also have tea parties for people, buffet lunches in various rooms, and we do everything here for them.
Now, when you say we, who's that?
Well, it's me and the girl who lives with me, who's been a mother's help for 10 years. She came as a mother's help, and she now does everything, even more than before. It was just the children originally. And we sort of set it up between us, really. We have to plan it so that I can be free to host this evening when the people arrive, so it doesn't look as if I've been doing anything in the kitchen. And she dishes it up, and then we have to get people in to actually serve it around the table. And then when they leave at about 11:30, then we clear it up and wash it all up afterwards. But it's great fun.
Christine wears period costume for the dinner she gives in the banqueting hall, one of the finest in the country.
Well, it was built in the early 1600s, and the screen, the minstrel's gallery, is exactly as it was in the early 1500s, 16th century. And the rest of the panelling is 17th century.
There are a lot of coat of arms, I noticed, on the screen and on the ceiling. What are they all about?
Well, every time somebody in the family married into another family, they brought their coats of arms in, and then they made up a sort of joint coat of arms. So it's really a sort of family history on the ceiling.
What do you actually love about it yourself?
I like all the wood, because I think that panelling makes the most tremendous atmosphere for a room, and also being able to have an enormous fireplace as well.
Do you ever use it as a family?
Yes, at Christmas time. We have a huge, great Christmas tree which goes right up to the ceiling over there, and we have about 26 of us, I think, all the family here. Have a tremendous family party.
Tell me about the dress you're wearing now, because that's part of it, isn't it?
Yes, this is a Victorian dress, and also an Elizabethan one as well. The velvet is new, but the bit at the bottom, the skirt is old and came from up in the attic in a cardboard box, and then we sort of put a bustle on behind, and then this bit is all old lace.
Well, the banqueting table's all laid and it looks truly magnificent. Does this all belong to the family? Is this all that you inherited, or is it?
Yes, we did.
The glassware's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? All matching.
Yes, it was made especially for my husband's great-grandfather. He was a viceroy in India, and he had it made in Vienna with the coats of arms on it. It's pretty frightening washing it up. You have to be really careful, carrying a tray of it.
Absolutely. What about the dishes as well?
And the dishes, yes, they came from Berlin, in fact, sort of 1840. Sir Edward Bulwer Lytton found them there. I was very pleased because they had LB, Lytton Bulwer, his initials.
So is washing up a problem with that as well?
Yes, I mean, no washing machines. It all has to be washed very carefully and dried by hand.
Now, if I was playing the part of your husband right now, then where would I be sitting? Where would you sit?
Well, we sit either end.
I see.
And we bring in these rather amazing sort of early Victorian Gothic type chairs, and the guests sit on these, which are applewood, Charles II applewood chairs.
They really are lovely, and the table itself. Well, let's take our places, shall we? You obviously don't talk to your husband all evening.
No, I can't even see him, really.
I see. So it's all right if you have a fight before you start?
Yes.
Yes. Do you actually choose who you sit beside? Do you make sure you've got an interesting guest?
Yes, one usually has the main guest of the evening on either side of one.
Well, Chryssie, you will have, been slaving in the kitchen all day to provide the food for a banquet like this. What sort of thing would we be eating?
Well, if it was an Elizabethan evening, we'd have broth, probably, to start with, and then a roast beef and potatoes, which were a great luxury, in fact, in Elizabethan time. Or they'd just been invented. They'd come from America. And sort of salads, and then a syllabub. If it was Victorian, we have a slightly more problem with that, because normally we would do game pies or jugged venison or jugged hare. But unfortunately, not many Americans actually like eating such strong food. And so we often have to make do with a sort of roast lamb or something like that instead.
If you had to choose one of the periods when the house was again functioning, is there any particular time that you wouldn't have minded being the owner then?
Well, I think probably the Elizabethan time would have been the most fun, because people were more relaxed then. I mean, by the time the Victorians came along, everything was tremendously formal. I think the Elizabethans sat round and had a really good party. A lot of wassail and beer drinking, and I think it was all much more relaxed.
Well, Christine, now we're in a room that the public don't see, because this is your private sitting room. And I suppose this is a place where you feel you can really relax, is it?
Yes, this is why we come in the evenings, or when we do sit down, we come in here and the children come in here. We have family games.
How difficult is it to run a family and a stately home in the same building?
Well, to begin with, it was quite difficult because we were very involved, and the children got really fed up because we never had any time to spend on them. But now I think they're beginning to realise the advantages of, having an adventure playground or a skateboard park, actually in their park, and having an enormous house to play in. But we still find that if we want to really spend a day with them, we have to go out and go away from the place, to be able to really devote our time to them.
Obviously, running a stately home like this does involve a lot of hard work.
Yes, as soon as we close down the house, we then start on repair. Repairing furniture, painting, restoring the outside of the house, and getting everything ready for the next season, thinking up ideas for the next summer.
You're handling some very, very, very valuable antiques. Isn't that a difficult decision to make when it comes to repairing, say, a sofa or something?
Yes, because it's very difficult to know whether to leave the material, the very old material, on something which is completely falling off it, really, or whether to, whether you do more harm by taking it off and putting on a new, similar type of material.
How do you actually come to those decisions, then?
Well, one goes on sort of trial and error. When it's literally falling off, then you've just got to do something about it. The trouble about painting and wallpapering this house is that, the ceilings are enormous and there's so much acreage to cover. It's a bit like the Forth Bridge, too. By the time you're finished, you need to start all over again.
Must be absolutely killing, physically, to try it yourself.
It's quite fun to do. It's very satisfactory. You get a great feeling of satisfaction when you've finished it.
Yes, because all the ceilings are very ornate, aren't they?
Yes.
When I actually first came here and I saw the house, I got a feeling I'd seen it before, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that about an old house. But could I have seen it on the films or anything?
Yes, it's been used quite often, not just Hammer horror films, which it's used very well, but other film companies as well. It's great fun. It's very interesting. The bedrooms get turned into dressing rooms, and the whole house gets completely taken over for, say, a fortnight. It's been used for the big sleep.
If you'd wait here, sir, I'd let the General know you're here.
Tall, aren't you?
I don't mean to be.
Handsome, too. What's your name?
Riley. Doghouse Riley.
What do you do?
I'm a detective.
American?
Yeah. I came over here during the war and couldn't find my way home.
You making fun of me?
Now, why would I do that?
You are tall. Oh. I like you.
Hey, wait a minute.
The General will see you now, Mr. Marlowe.
Who was that?
Miss Camilla Stanwood, sir.
You should start weaning her. She looks old enough.
How did it all start for you, this? Obviously, you married the heir to the house, but did you ever think you would be running it like this?
No, we never really expected to live here. My parents-in-law had always said, we'll find a solution for the house. We don't want you to have the problems that we've had with it and have to, spend the money on it. And so they tried to give it away to Hertfordshire, to the county council, but nobody would take it over because of the amount of public money would have to be spent on it to keep it up. And so my parents-in-law were, you know, I was still looking round, but a bit desperate. So we said, well, oh, well, we'll take it over and we'll have a go and see what we can do with it. We do get some quite preposterous suggestions from Americans going round it. One man suggested that we took the whole house to bits and took it to California, and he was going to put it up over there. The only problem was he wanted us as a family to go with it, and we were to be on show too, so we turned that one down. But my son's very keen on filming, so he might easily turn it into a film studio, I think.
Well, the other way that you've used the land, actually, is to have pop festivals. Didn't that worry you a bit?
Well, it did to start with. We'd always said no when people came and asked us. And the promoter, Freddie Bannister, who runs them for us now, said, well, there must be a price, you know, everybody's got a price. And, you know, we sort of mentioned a figure, and he said, well, yes, you're on. And so we were very nervous the first time we had one. But it went very well. We had about, I think the first one we had about 60,000 people for. And we've had 5 altogether now. And every time we've been really lucky. Weather's been good, and everybody's behaved fantastically. And they seem to have gone down very well, been very successful.
But is it just a business venture, or do you really enjoy the pop festivals?
Well, I really enjoy it, but it is a business venture as well. But, you know, I really enjoy having the groups here.
And apart from the lovely house, you've got acres and acres of land, of beautiful countryside, and there are lots of deer there as well.
Yes, there are about 250 deer, 3 different sorts, red, Manchurian seeker and fallow deer. And well, one deer we brought up on a bottle. In fact, this is baby red deer, which somebody had picked up. It's a few hours old and brought it up. And we fed it on a bottle. You know, come to the pub with us on a Sunday morning, stand outside with the dogs.
What happened to him in the end?
Well, he got tremendously rough because he was very large. And he'd really ruined all his hopes when he attacked my mother-in-law in the park and gave her 2 black eyes and nearly broke her nose. So we sent him to a zoo. Because in fact, he was never happy in the park because he never thought that he was a deer.
Running a stately home like this does involve a lot of work. What is the enjoyment for you? Why are you doing it? What do you love about it?
Well, I think we really feel that we're caretakers for part of history, really.